Do not attempt this at home. This video is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be instructional. Vapes should only be recycled by qualified professionals. Lithium-ion batteries are extremely volatile and dangerous. The improper handling of lithium-ion batteries can result in fire, explosion, serious injury or death.
Scrap a lunch. Don't you just hate it when you come in to your shed and there's been a scrap a lunch? Oh, my infectors. Well, not all. A selection of. But that's not the job in hand. This is. So, hey curious people. Today we are going to be doing, it's a fireproof bag, and inside here I've got these volatile beasts. So these were given to me to recycle, and so what have we got here? Here we have got a big, colourful, monstrous pile of these horrible things. Oh my gosh, it smells like a sweet shop. Whew. That smells strong. So, wow, look at that. Gosh, I feel really cold as well from being in that bag. Okay, so I don't know if you saw it, at the end of last week's video, I actually opened up one of these. Now, I'm assuming they're all the same inside, but we'll just gently open up another one. So I'm just going to put a disclaimer in here. Do not try this at home. This is not something I recommend doing. It's not something the manufacturers recommend doing. I'm a recycler, that's why I'm doing it. But do not open these up yourself if you are not an experienced recycler, and even so, proceed with caution. Lithium-ion batteries can explode into fire very easily. So, because the seam lines are here, what I do is just pop it in the vise and just pop a little bit of pressure to just pop that seal there, nice and slowly, just to let that come out. It's going to need a little bit of help. I'll use the chisel. So that's one end off. You can then pull out the innards and then take the other end off. Now, you'll notice the central part is actually aluminium. So we're going to store those up. This is just plastic. And here is the little battery and the vaporizer unit. Now, the chips, so I know that there are gold in some of these, and when I opened one up the other day, I was surprised to find tiny amounts of gold on the IC that's inside this vaporizer here. So we'll just peel that away. So I've got a rubber around it. There's the vaporizer. Now, see how tiny that is? That really is small. There's a teeny copper contact there off of the battery, and then on the one I opened the other day there was a small rim of gold around the outside of this. This one doesn't actually have that, from what I can see here. I'm just going to manipulate it open and just have a little see what we've got. I'm not going to do this for all of them, I'm just showing you this one. I am interested to see these long ones though, because I've seen someone show a line of ICs on those, and I believe they're more expensive. So, although I was amazed to find that some of these are £7 each. So in opening that up, it has revealed an IC chip, and actually it's on the inside, so the gold rim is there. Tiny little gold rim and a tiny IC chip, which I wasn't sure if it had gold or copper inside. It's so tiny, like I need a microscope really. So that's what you'll find inside the vaporizers on the little Lost Mary types. And if I cut the IC, gives you a little chance to have a look. So what I might do is just, oh, it is copper, I can see on this one. It's not gold at all. It's copper inside that IC anyway. So there is that rim of gold there. I'm probably not going to bother taking these vaporizers apart. I'm going to open these up for that aluminium. And then the batteries I'm going to store in that battery box until I can take them for recycling. So I'm going to do a few and just literally see what we get here in aluminium value. That was an easier way of doing it, around that way. Pull that separate. And there we go. I mean, they're certainly colourful, aren't they? They are that. So they're all the same inside. I don't think there's going to be any surprises here, other than waste. So, I mean, for most people, it's probably not worth doing a... Well, this is different. Okay, this one's different. Oh, I'm glad I've... Okay, so it looks like they've... it's the same brand, but it looks like they've switched it up a little. So let us see if I can just disconnect this battery. All right, let's use the vise again, give this a little squeeze, and we'll try and separate this, which we have done. Oh, I can see some gold bonding wires on this one. See that in there? There we have gold bonding wires. So things are looking up. I didn't expect I was going to find anything with this type now. We'll open that vaporizer as well. I'm calling it that. We'll probably find out that's not indeed what it's called at all. So there's a tiny little... That's not even an IC actually. That's not a capacitor. So forget that. Okay, so slice this one open. Now, I don't think that is gold, but it's not really shiny enough So I don't think that's gold. I assume that's just brass. Brass, possibly even stainless. And that little tiny circuit board. But obviously the bonus on this one is that there are gold bonding wires here. And the reason I think that is because the whole wire is not the same colour, it's just the ends, which is obviously something typical with gold, not brass. It's actually quite a rich colour too. So, interesting. Okay, let's open a different flavour. Now, obviously this liquid is pretty toxic stuff. It is very harmful if ingested, so don't do that. That's obviously where it soaks up. What is this? Pineapple something. Same deal, so I won't get into all those bits. And obviously I'm going to have to take all of the connections off of those batteries. Still aluminium though, so that's good. Right, have we done one of these ones? Yeah, there's a different one. That's another one of those kind of colours, greeny ones. It's got a board on it. This is another flavour. Okie dokie, another one. So I'm going to move on next to the other type, and then I'm just going to show you what I got of these overall. Gosh, it smells so strong in here. Whew. Nice noise though, isn't it? Nicey noisy. Okay, let's open up one of these. These are all the same brand. Oh, this is a different one. So, unfortunately, the outside, oh wait, there's metal, but that looks like steel. Yeah, let's see if we can get into this one. You can hear the children playing outside. Right, steel caps off. Kind of a bit of a strange unit, this. Looks like I need to get in and get this out. Okay. Oh, I think we're going to have some aluminium here though. So, same looking principle. Doesn't look like there's any line of IC chips like I was hoping for though. What's that? Oh, that's a bit of stainless. Bit of stainless. Okay, the batteries, as you'll notice, are the same. Looks like they probably all use the same components, but no gold here though. So that's disappointed. Let's open up that vaporizer. It looks exactly the same. I suspect it is exactly the same. I'm just going to snip it in half. Yeah, they're using exactly the same components. No difference. But. There's a bit in the middle of this. Oh, that's come out, and now let's see. Oh yeah, more aluminium. Like I said, there's a little wind chime right here. Okay, this one is a different one. Let's see what we've got here. Similar principle, same battery. That pod is obviously a bit different. Everything else looks the same, and no gold wires, no stainless. Oh, so this one, the whole thing is aluminium. So, I think this is going to add up to a bit of a pile of aluminium. And just a pre-warning for you, I'm going to speed up a little here, just so that I don't bore you to death, basically. Whew, what a colourful rainbow we've got here, and what a beautiful clatter. Sorry, I know it's a tad loud, but I do love the clatter of aluminium. So, here we have the casings that are aluminium, the tops and the bottoms, and then I've got the batteries attached to the vaporizer pad thingies in there that I need to go through in a minute after I've done this, basically. So next I'm going to squash these just to make the pile a little bit more manageable, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to save these until I get my furnace and do a vape melt. one can never have too many hammers, but I feel like this is a job for the old chunky club hammer. Okay, let's see. Nice. So I'm gonna speed this up again because obviously it'll be a bit boring me just standing here doing this otherwise, won't it? So here we go. Now, I have squashed them all. Oh, no, I haven't. One thought it was going to get away, huh? Not on my watch. So, this will make them more manageable to store. It's amazing, isn't it, how something so pretty can... It's just so bad for you. But although I did squash this cylindrical one, I'm going to keep these ones, and the reason for that is that these will make a really beautiful wind chime. So you hear? Stunning, isn't it? So there were only 4 in this batch, but I expect I'll get some more. So I just want to clarify that I do know the people these came from. Before anybody suggests it, I'm not keen on the idea of going to the vape shops and offering to recycle that, because they have to supply vape bins. But obviously it's quite an unhygienic thing, and you know, yeah, I just don't fancy taking apart the vapes of strangers. So I'm just going to do from the people that I know where these came from, basically. And I think I'll get a steady supply, let's put it that way. So, how lovely. And it's amazing how that adds up. So this plastic is going to go for recycling. I just need to make sure it's just plastic and no, like, these spongy pod things. But this can go into plastic recycling. So everything basically except for this bit, these bits are going to get recycled out of these. So not bad going. So pretty. I just wish this was HDPE, like number 2 recyclable plastic, because I would melt these in something. But they're uncoded. Now there are some tests you can try and do, but they're quite lengthy with a lot of mess and a lot of faffing about. So sadly, I'm not going to be able to make these into anything, but they will get recycled, so that's fine. It's just there are some amazing colours here, so it would have been really good if I could have made these into something. I mean, I could crush them. I wish I had a shredder, because I'd love to... I probably should be taking these out. Shred. I'll do that off camera. sort of thing I can do watching a live stream. I would love to get one of those industrial shredders, because even though I can't melt this, I could actually still make it into something if I could shred it. But because I could use it in resin basically, but I can't because I don't have an industrial shredder and they cost way too much money. So gosh, it's amazing when you're doing it and you're in the process of chucking the stuff into a pile, how far that pile reaches. Basically, I'm not going to weigh them. I'm going to do that when I do the melt down the line, when I actually finally get my hands on the furnace. So yeah, we will leave it as it is here. But I really enjoyed doing that, just because I hate those things. They're so bad for the environment, so it's quite satisfying smashing them up and doing something better with them. So I'm just coming back into my shed just to do a quick extra edit, and that's that Ralph said he took a vape apart and it had stainless steel. Now this sounds like aluminium, but it was really difficult to hammer flat, so I still think it is going to be aluminium, but I just want to spark test it basically, just to see, just to make sure, because there won't be much use me doing a furnace melt on stainless steel now, will there? So I'm just going to literally, where's my specs? There's my specs. Do a little spark test and see, and hope it doesn't spark at me. Fabulous. It is aluminium. No sparky. And now the only other different one was this one, but I will just test a few. Ah, okay. Sparky. So this one is actually stainless steel. Wait, did I even check it was non-magnetic? Yeah. Let's just make sure with a strong magnet. Yeah, very well. How annoying. So there's no point in me putting this. This is stainless, but it's only got a slight magnetic pull, but there's no point in me putting it in stainless because my yard won't take magnetic stainless steel. So that one's actually got to go and shred. I just got to randomly, there was one I missed as well. I'm just going to randomly spark test a few, because some of them did have different components, so I just want to just check. Okay, few. So it's looking like these are all going to be aluminium, but I am glad I checked that. Okay, so we can conclude that these ones are definitely aluminium. Now I wonder about these ones. I don't want to. I'm not spark testing these because I'm using them for a wind chime. Oh, no doubt. 100% aluminium. Stainless steel does not make that beautiful noise. Perfect. Okay, so there we are. So where it comes to the batteries are no joke. We all know that these little lithium ion batteries are lethal. They have caused scrapyard fires, they've caused internal fires, and I also have a friend who works in the burns unit at a major burns hospital, and she said to me just yesterday that she cannot believe the amount of horrific burns they've got coming in from vape explosions. And I thought she meant, you know, like up in the face, and she was like, no, anywhere, legs, where people keep them in their pocket, and they just are so volatile. It takes nothing to make these things explode. So, you know, this is why you should not open these things, and this is why I'm an advocate for telling you not to open these things. But for the purpose of me doing what I'm doing, I'm just showing you, this is the way I make my lithium batteries as safe as can be until I can get them to recycling, which I do very quickly after dismantling a batch like this. I don't want them hanging around, they're nasty. So these are battery terminal dots, and they are for insulating lithium ion specifically, and you'll notice they've already got them on as part of the battery makeup. So all I do, once I have exposed those terminals, I just put a dot over each end just to make sure that they are not going to touch metal or each other and create a release of charge, because that's what's the biggest problem with them. Crushing is a big problem where these are concerned, but having these exposed terminals is not good news. So this is what I do. I cover the ends with the battery insulation, and then I line them in rows of 10 and I tape them. Oh, so you saw my battery bag where I keep things that I haven't dismantled yet. Well, this is my battery box. So this is an explosion proof battery box. It's designed to have minimal oxygen and be waterproof. It's got a special seal around the top. So what I do is I then tape the batteries so that they can't move around and touch each other on the ends. And also because the battery tape is great stuff, but it's not as adhesive as you'd like it to be with something as volatile. So I just tape them in strips so that they can't all jingle around and touch each other. And then basically seal the battery box. It's just like an ammo box. The lid's very heavy. Seal it down, and voila. It's as safe as they can be until I get them off for recycling. And there we have it. I think it's really important to just emphasise how dodgy these batteries can be, but you all know it. We've seen the scrapyard fires. We all know what these things can do. They've taken aeroplanes down, for goodness sake. You know, this is why you're told not to open them, and this is why, because I have opened the vapes, I am doing basically as much as possible to minimise the risk of anything happening with these batteries, not just until I get them to the recycling centre, but once they're there, because also, obviously, you know, they've then got to be stored there for a while before they'll then sell them on. So it's just about being as safe as you can. But these are really cheap. I've had these quite a long time, so I can't quite remember, but you can get them on Amazon. They are, I want to say sort of £5-6, something like that. They're not a lot of money at all. So basically you get 2 stars. You get this one that's got the small dot, and then you've got this bigger one. So I find these ones the best, but sometimes I have bigger batteries that I need to put the big ones on, but these are actually really handy, these hoops, because sometimes, let me find you an example. Don't have an example there. Oh, I've got an example here. If it doesn't quite stick for some reason, you can then use the hoop to recover another little bit and keep it on there. So they do say that for batteries you can put clear tape. I just don't feel like that's enough for lithium ion. So I do the insulation as well before sending them off. So if you're recycling and you have laptop batteries, whatever, tablet batteries, anything, you want one of these to store it in, so that if something does happen, it'll be contained as much as possible. So there we have that batch of lithium ion batteries ready to go to the battery recyclers. So stiff, but it's got to be airtight. And there we have it. Okay, now that was quite a short episode because most of it obviously was sped up. But I'm going to leave it there because I'm just going to keep this a vape only episode. However, if you are watching this premiere and you want some more solids action, I'm going to do a premiere straight after this one on my other channel, Solids and More, which is all things solids. So I think it might be e-waste steampunk resin creations. And I'm sorry if that's a fib. That's what, at the time of filming this, I'm planning to do. But you never know with resin. Excuse me. Never know with resin whether it's going to fail you. So I've had that happen a couple of times. But that is the plan. And I'm going to use those awesome Makita cogs. So if you want some more solids and you all want to keep chatting straight after this, come over to Solids and More. The link's in the description of this video. And if one of my moderators wouldn't mind trying to put that in chat, that would be great. I'd appreciate that. If I have the chance, I'll do it myself. I'm rubbish at these things. So I might see some of you over there. And yes, back to a longer length video next week. But yeah, last week's one was a bit of a corker, wasn't it? So I don't want to go overkill. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, or in a few minutes. I can't wait to turn these into something better. I do love the colours though, but yeah, what an interesting scrap out that was. I enjoyed it. My muscles, I don't know if you had noticed, I had to keep swapping arms. Because actually when you do that many for a weakling like me, it takes its toll. Okay, thanks guys, I'll see you soon. Bye. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment in the main comment section and all that shebang.